What's up, guys? Today is Monday, October 9th, 2023. I am Lindsay Duff, and this is Cesar Ahumada. We are here today to do the Monday Rundown. Cesar was one of our scholarship winners last year, and he's also been on the team to create our Spanish curriculum. So I'm out here in Tampico right now and have been visiting with Cesar and his family. And we wanted to introduce you guys a little bit to Cesar so y'all could get to know him and talk a little bit about his experience he's had here at Responsible Day Trading. We do have the scholarship coming up. We only have 3 more days left for you to fill out your application. So Cesar's going to talk a little bit about his experience, and he's also going to talk a little bit in Spanish. So he's going to translate it in Spanish and English so that everybody can understand what's going on. But we're going to be talking a little bit about the Spanish curriculum that we have coming up, and we've already had some people go through some of it, has some really good feedback. Then we're going to go through the market analysis together, so just having a little switching it up today. All right, Cesar, so tell us a little bit about your experience with the scholarship and how it has affected you, some of the things that you've learned, how you're feeling about your trading and such since then.
It was a life-changing experience because I used to trade for like a couple of years back before the scholarship, but I was not finding the results that I wanted. So when I saw your videos and I saw the scholarship application, I knew that I had to be part of this. And I knew that I had to find a new method that was fitting my trading style. So when I saw your videos and I saw the way that you were trading, it was like the missing piece that I needed to complete the puzzle.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
That's what I find that it does. There's a lot of great companies out there that'll teach you a lot of information, but there's some pieces that are definitely missing. And I do feel like we, put those into play for you. So I'm glad that you feel that way as well. So
yeah, and after the scholarship, I was lucky to have the big prize, the VIP. So it was night and day after I saw the curriculum and I took all the videos and all the support that I've received from you and Jason, all this coaching. If you were not getting the right idea from the videos, you can always reach any of your mentors and they're gonna help you out to understand and make it easier for you in this journey.
Well, and Cesar has been so involved with everything, and we had a seminar in April, which we'll be having another one next April, and we decided to bring Cesar on as part of the RDT team. And he has been working since then towards helping to recreate the curriculum in Spanish, which we are closing in on finishing up. So we're actually going to have a whole new curriculum out for English and the Spanish side. It is the same curriculum as before. It's just broken down into smaller bits where it's easier to digest, and it was easier for them to translate into Spanish. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Bueno, estamos haciendo este currículum ahora en español, es la misma metodología del curso en inglés, pero ahora estamos tratando de abrir el mercado a todos los traders que hablan español, desde México hasta Argentina, cubriendo todo el continente, en España también, las personas en Estados Unidos que hablen español y que quieran entrar a ese negocio de day trading, puedan tener esta estrategia a su alcance y puedan empezar esta carrera que sin lugar a dudas es un cambio de vida totalmente, porque puedes trabajar desde tu casa, puedes tener independencia financiera. Entonces todas las personas que estén interesadas y que quieran ponerse en contacto con nosotros pueden hacerlo. Nuestra información está en la descripción o en nuestra página de internet, y estamos a punto de lanzar el currículum en español. Solo son unos detalles que tenemos que afinar, pero va a estar completamente listo para ustedes, y la versión renovada del currículum en inglés ahora en español para ustedes.
Thank you very much for sharing that with us.
No problem.
So Cesar and I are actually going to do the rundown together, and it is going to be out a little later than usual, but that's okay. It's still going to be out there. Let's go ahead and check out the market. What we always do is we start with news. I did notice there was no news today, so we're good to go. There's actually no news today or tomorrow, and you do have FOMC tomorrow with a couple other on Wednesday with a couple other things. So we are going to do that together, and so this video may be a little longer than normal today, but let's go ahead and check out the market. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and come over here to the news. So the first thing that we're gonna do is come over to responsible day trading. We're gonna go to news, and we're gonna go to market news. And as you can see, we don't have anything for Monday or Tuesday. When we get to Wednesday, we've got something an hour before the market opens. So we've got something pre-market, and then we've got FOMC at 1 o'clock. Thursday, there's a lot of pre-market news. So if you do trade pre-market, just make sure you're paying attention to that. At 10, we've got crude oil inventories, and there's nothing Friday. So things may get a little wild during the FOMC, but there is no news any other day. So I don't know, maybe a little bit slower. You never know. So let's go ahead and check out the daily chart. So you want to talk about what you see in the daily chart?
So this is what we're looking at right now in the daily chart. We're seeing that this is an area that is very important to us because we have a lot of movement. In this area, we can take it as a support. We can see the MACDs that are changing color, and we are heading to the upside. So we're probably going to continue to the upside for something like this that we see before. We are inside of the Bollinger Band. What we are seeing right now in the daily chart, the probabilities is to continue to the upside. And we can see this flat reversal right here, and this is where we start to change the color of the BBs, and probably this is an area that we are going to be aware of. If we break this resistance, we can probably be looking at this other area. So we have all this space for the price to run, and like for now, this is what we can see in the daily chart. We have to see the smaller charts. Yeah.
One thing I would mention about this, and so you guys know, is our direction did shift to the downside. We are below the EMAs and we're below the zero line. One thing that creates that direction shift, and we talk about this a lot, is pulling away from the EMAs and then closing beyond that, which we did see happen in here. We pulled away from these EMAs and we closed beyond the bars that had pulled away from it. Here we didn't. We didn't close beyond that bar, but here we did. Now, we'd really like to see some strong separation from that, another push down further in order to really have that confidence that it is going to continue to the downside. So currently what it looks more like, even though the direction has shifted, it's more like an overrun of the area to the downside. And so, it's a little bit kind of in the middle of, are we going to see it pull up into this area and then push down some more? Or are these open EMAs going to continue staying open and we get back above them and push back up higher? So currently the direction is down, so we just want to be aware of that. But we do have our other charts that we check out, like Cesar said, so we can make sure we're really understanding what's going on. Now, when we move to the 28,657, we do see that we have a big gap from overnight, and we tend to see those gaps close. So because this is overnight information, it's really hard to use that as this is what is a solid expectation, because this big gap is overnight. And so this looks like a ton of strength to the downside, but we really want to see it kind of work its way out throughout the day and see what's going to happen. So it has pulled up and pretty much closed this gap up here. We do see this blue BB sitting at the top Bollinger Band. It does look like it's trying to push up, but we had a big movement to the upside here, and this is all we saw happen in the MACDs. So it's got a lot of work to do to get back above there and to move up into this area. I don't think we'll see it move all the way up there because that's a really extreme area for the MACDs to be. So eventually it will give us some sort of divergence to tell us to pull it back. Like I said, I don't expect it to move up here. Maybe move up into this area and come back and kind of reset and recalibrate with that big gap that happened there. So next what we want to do is we want to come over and look at our trading charts. Cesar, do you want to give a rundown of what's going on with these three charts?
Yeah, right now what we can expect, we can see here in the 10946, the price is reaching the previous pivot, and in the MACDs, as well as are reaching the previous pivot. So we cannot tell what the direction is going to be right now because we don't have enough information. So we will just have to be patient and wait where the price is decided to go. So it could break this area and try to reach the previous resistance, or we can use this as a resistance and turn and go back to this area. But if we look at a smaller chart, for example this at 1597, we can see that the price is getting at the same level. We can see this divergence to the downside and the price getting to this area right here. But we can see a separation here in the BBs, and also we can see some strength of the price trying to break this resistance. So my advice right now will be just wait and get more information so we can be certain what the price wants to do. Right.
One thing that I would like to bring up is when this was happening right here, they were staying blue and did have like a decent look to the upside, right? Because it did the pullback here and the MACD stayed blue and up. But I wouldn't want to be the one to try and push it through there and say, okay, well, I'm going to be the one to change this whole thing, because we do have things like divergence happening right here and white BBs and a lot of things saying, hey, this may push up, but it's really hard to tell how far it's going to go right now. So getting back above this area, then pulling back into it is probably a little bit more safe, I guess you could say. And I know that Cesar does play it safe. He has a lot of patience while he's waiting for trades to happen, which it does take that, because otherwise you're going to get fooled by every bar.
Yeah, I want to be sure that the information that I'm seeing in all the charts are in agreement. So in order to take a decision, I will have to be 100% certain that the charts are in agreement, at least for a short period of time, so the decision that we take is going to give us a little bit of profit.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't let you finish though with the 233, so if you want to finish just kind of going down the line of everything.
We saw this breakout to the upside. This is the same area that we're seeing here in the 1597, and we can see the BBs pushing down. But as we can see, there's a lot of weakness in this area because the price is getting stuck here. So
someone might ask, like right where your cursor is right now, why would I not take the long right here? What would you tell them in that? Because you see a little pullback, it didn't cross the bottom Bollinger Band there. But what may be a reason that you would not get into that?
Because the smaller chart is telling me more down, but the bigger chart is telling me more up. So I will have to wait until some sort of agreement between these three charts, and then I will be able to take a decision.
Yeah. Well, something else that I would consider too is we look to take trades that happen towards the area, right? The bigger areas, the EMAs, typically. So you can see like, even like right in here, if someone had taken this type of trade right here, they would have been stopped out when it pulls back deeper into the area. So it hadn't quite made it to that area, but it gave them the opportunity to get out of that whenever this happened and it didn't cross the top Bollinger Band. Or right in here, it's like, hey, it's going to give us a deeper pullback. So if you're getting into something like this, you have to be so quick on the draw to get out as soon as it reaches that resistance area, because we need that room to run. So pulling back into the area to give a little bit more space for it to push up again is a better idea. But at that time, it's such weak EMAs here, or weak MACDs here, and these are outside. Yes, they say they look like they're pushing up. I don't want to be the one to try and make it happen, just as we were talking about right in here. I don't want to be the one to try and make it happen. And one of the great things about what we do is there's opportunities all day long. So you don't have to take that trade. You can wait for the pullback. So I would want to see a little bit more confidence that this was going to push through and continue up. And I don't necessarily have that right now. I would be anticipating this actually to give us a deeper pullback towards the area. And by that time, typically what happens is, these are constantly moving. So as this is pushing up, by the time this might pull back into here, we might see these EMAs come up a little bit higher than this area and give us a great area to take the trade. I mean, taking them on the 233 is absolutely fine. We don't have a problem with taking it from the area on the 233, but you want to make sure it has a good possibility to be sustainable. So when it pulled back to this area and it pushed up, the MACDs just barely moved up at that time. That told us we're going to see a deeper pullback, right? So if you did decide to take some sort of trade like right in here, keeping your risk at a very low possibility to give you a big loss, right? So a little risk, paying attention to when it doesn't work out completely, and just being prepared for the slowdown and the opportunity. I really have the feeling that it's going to pull back a little bit further, but it could go from here too. So that's why if you've got a lot of ifs, then you probably should sit out.
Yeah.
So long story short, if we come back to our bigger tick charts, our direction is down on the daily chart. It could very easily move back to the upside, but currently it's down. On the 28,657, direction is up. So, and it could very easily move back to the downside. So there's a lot of disagreement right now. If we look at our other charts, that does have up in our direction on all of these, but it's really struggling to continue to move up. And we do see some big bars happening, but just remember, big bars, just one big bar, it's a strong bar. It's not a strong move. And when you have just one strong bar, it can fool you into thinking that, oh, well, look, we've got strength here now, but look what happened immediately after that bar happened. We slowed down. And that does give us opportunities on the smaller tick chart, having that one big bar, but we have to pay attention and not get stuck in the idea that it's going to continue like that. So we just want to pay attention and be ready for whatever it hands our way and go from there. Do you have anything you would like to add?
Just a little recommendation, like we said before, if you are not sure that the market is telling you something or that all the charts are in agreement, the better thing that you can do is just wait for a confirmation, and then when you are 100% sure of your decision, then you can take a trade. But not before, because the market is going to run you over. And like Lindsay always says, just flow with the market and wait for the right opportunity.
Yeah, and something I just want to add to that is, a lot of times people are looking for these longs right through here, and they're like, oh, I missed it, oh, I missed it, oh, I missed it, let me take it here, right? And by that time, and even if it does go up, it's not the right thing to do. And that's what we're trying to instill in traders is it's not about the money, it's about doing the right thing when it presents itself to you. So this would be taking along right into an area that has some anticipations to hold. And I mean, we've got BBs trying to turn white here. We're back at the top of the Bollinger Band here. Now they're still outside and moving up here. So we may see just like a little bit of a burst up. But what happens sometimes is you get really confident, it does that burst up and then turns around almost immediately and takes you out. So just being patient and doing the right thing and taking it from the area when it presents it to you. Or if you're not confident or comfortable with the trade, just waiting. Some days may mean that you're not paying attention and you need to wait all day, and that's absolutely fine. All right, guys, so that is going to wrap it up. So, we do see potentials for this to move up, but it's gonna be some work to get it there. Just like we said, the daily chart is below everything, so it's gonna take some work for it to move. So we may see a lot of little pullbacks, a lot of divergences if it's gonna go up. Otherwise, it's still in upward motion. The only one that wasn't in a long position was the daily chart. But there are areas above us that we need to be aware of that could hold up the party a little bit. So it was my pleasure today to introduce Cesar, and we're really glad to have him here as part of the team. And if you have questions about the curriculum in Spanish or in English, you can reach out to us, and I can connect you with Cesar if you need to have a little bit more in-depth conversation about it. So definitely reach out to us if you got any questions. Do you have anything that you would like to add?
Thank you. Just thank you for having me here,
Yeah.
and taking consideration that the scholarship is about to close.
Yes.
If you want to be part of the RDT students, you can participate in the scholarship. So, and also be prepared and for the Spanish curriculum. So we are about to launch it. We are just making some small adjustments, but it's 95% ready.
Yeah.
So wait for it, and if you need more information, just let us know.
Absolutely. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. I hope that everybody has a wonderful week. And as always, you know that we look forward to catching you on the profitable side.